here we go with episode 12 of series 3 of a Podful of Saints, and it's a cracker today. It's all about the FA Cup. Right, there's two other people here with me. One's laughing his head off already, I think. This is David Tavener. Over there, we have, well, it says on his camera, Scotty Oakes, Lee Wood.
Super Scotty Oakes to you, David.
Oh, yes.
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
I think we're well. And Jacob Ellacott, who's been shifted into the spare room by the looks of it.
Hello, Dave. Hello, everyone. What a pleasure to be here.
Yes, we can see that. Right. FA Cup, as we mentioned. First of all, last Saturday we played this lot, which should say Metropolitan Police on there somewhere, at Invercourt. FA Cup third round qualifying. The email you sent me earlier today, Jake, you didn't think it was the best game ever.
No, I thought that just the whole day was a bit miserable, really. The weather, the conditions, the Saints, if football wasn't particularly amazing, I didn't think, they created some chances, but Met Police had a few real openings themselves and probably should have really scored. Now, Saints should have as well, but it just felt like, and compared to the replay, we'll get a pot to, just felt like the Saints were almost happy with the draw, especially listening to Ian Allinson's post-match. He talked about just being very happy to still be in the draw, and in the end, it felt like that. I mean, I don't know what you thought, Dave. You were down there as well. It just wasn't the greatest game, I didn't think.
No, the rain didn't help, did it? Which it seems to be every time we go to Invercourt these days. And the Wally with a brolly was there behind the goal, wasn't he? I expect you saw him.
Which one?
That's true. He doesn't need a brolly, does he? Right, Tim.
So was the rain a leveller, fellas?
I'm not sure, actually, Lee. There's a bit of wind as well, which probably didn't help. But it wasn't the worst 0-0 draw. I've seen plenty worse ones. I felt a draw was probably right. We can probably claim we had just about enough good chances to win it. There was one actually sliding tackle in the second half. David Noble put in to put their bloke off. Who was it? It was number 10, wasn't it? Liam Ferdinand. And his shot still wasn't far off target. But if they had got that, it could have made an interesting finale to it. But no, overall, I thought a draw was fair. Have you seen the highlights, Lee?
Well, if that's what you want to call them, Dave, yeah.
Well, I actually watched. I don't usually watch it, I think, because our head of media we had last year, he didn't like the press getting involved in anything. So I haven't been watching them until this one. And it does annoy me when every clip changes. SACFC TV, just merge your clips together, thank you. And there were a few things on there, Lee, as you say, if that were the highlights, a few things that shouldn't have been on there, because there weren't that many chances. But I've seen worse games. What about the team then? What did we go for at the back? Was it 3-4-5?
Yeah, and again, it just didn't seem to quite work, did it, for me, the three? I mean, Ian's done it a few times this season. Of course, he knows what he's doing, but that three at the back, we do seem to struggle with it a little bit. And no one really stood out for me in the first game, at least. No one at all. And I think
in a 0-0 draw.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Piss and rain.
Exactly.
Funny how that works, mate.
A few fans said to me, why didn't we make substitutions earlier, which we do touch upon? Why didn't we bring the likes of Banton on, bring it a bit earlier? I think. But at the end of the day, we didn't lose.
Was that it? We didn't lose?
No.
That's very astute of you, Jacob.
Not much gets past him, does it?
Well,
we've been singing the praises of Nobby recently, and we said he's definitely going to play and all that. Well, as you saw in my notes, I thought first half he was Met Police's best player. He took a long time to decide which side he was playing for, didn't he? Which is unusual for him. We need him to be on song to really create chances for us.
I don't know if it was the weather or what, or just the way that the Met Police did seem to harry him a bit in midfield. But I think, we can let him off one poor performance, can't we? The amount of times he's almost carried us in midfield in recent seasons. So, but yeah, not ideal, but it's always a good sign when you don't play particularly well, but you get through to the next. Well, you're still in the hat, and you don't concede, and that's all you want really on a day like that.
Well, you two have also been on about Mitchell Weiss lately. He started Saturday.
Yeah,
didn't really get many chances, did he?
No,
but who did, Tabs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I still cast the conversation we had last week about Noble and starting, and the fundamentals of him starting. I don't really see. Maybe it's just sort of one game too much in that sort of short space of time, perhaps, fellas.
Yeah, potentially.
But anyway, it's all you know.
But I think it's still a good question because, as you say, it is you got through. But when David Noble isn't performing well in midfield, who is there to come in and do it instead? Because Karen Wiltshire is not too similar a player. Karen Wiltshire is a different kind of player. I think he didn't do anything wrong Saturday, but I just think myself, who is there to come in?
Yeah,
Positives, fellas. Positives.
Yes.
Right, there was another game on Tuesday. The replay. Sorry about that. My hand seems to be covering a badge or something up. Clarence Park, no rain, 3-1 win, job done.
Easy.
Wasn't it a good game though? Wasn't it a good game, fellas?
Yeah.
Really exciting football.
Well, I thought over 2 games, Lee, I thought Met Police showed why they're unbeaten. Was it 12, 13, 14 games, whatever it was? And you can see them having a good season.
I'll tell you what, Tabs, hats off to you, mate, because they were a much better side than I gave them credit for this time last week. How many sides have we seen who are quite good in the league below? They sort of play someone at our level and get turned over. That golf isn't quite there, but fair play to them, mate. They were energetic. They were high tempo, high octane attacking football from absolute, minute one. We were too much for them on the day, but you can see why they are flying high in their league.
That replay, Lee, we started the second half, the first half at a much higher tempo than we did Saturday, didn't you think, Jake? And of course, we got our reward after 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that tempo was what we didn't see at all on Saturday, and that was the main difference for me. We looked like we really wanted to go for it and get those goals, and that was, as you say, a brilliant start. And even though Met Police did cause problems and they really contributed to a really good, fun game, I never felt too concerned, even though they did get a goal back at 2-1. I mean, we have to mention the second goal. Unbelievable play for it, wasn't it, Lee?
Delivery, fellas. It's all about the delivery. I mean, it was a good header. But delivery right on his Swede. I mean, come on, it's all about the quality, though. Those players, getting those quality players on the ball in the key areas of the pitch, they make things happen. And, Jeffers again, how many more times has he got to sit, turn on the sort of goods? Because if he keeps scoring, Dave, as you said on many podcasts, mate, someone's going to slap him up because money sort of talks, and he's not one of our own. He's had 15 clubs in like 3 years or whatever he is. So, he likes a pound note, but at the minute he's our player. But how long for?
It's funny, after that first goal, for about the next quarter of an hour, we just played the ball so easily. And we said that Met Police were a decent side, but they couldn't get a foot on the ball. But trouble is, I think it became too easy for us, and we stopped going for goal. We were quite happy just to keep playing our patterns. And they had a spell 5-10 minutes before half time when they looked they might do something. I mean, as you say, we got that cracking second goal.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a scramble, wasn't there, just before half time in our goal mouth. Was it Alex Lancashire who made the clearance?
Apparently so.
Yeah. So, and again, Alex Lancashire, who we will not stop singing the praises of, I don't think, this season. Again, another brilliant performance on Tuesday. But as you say, Dave, there was that couple of minutes, and maybe that is one concern that we didn't go for the kill then. But in the end, 2-0 into half time, you'll take that, and 2-1. And I thought, we'll talk about the second half. I thought we responded well to their goal as well.
One thing I will say is that I've been speaking to long-term City fan Lewis Wynn, and because obviously he taught Lancashire at Beaumont, and he was an attacking player there at school, and he said that even if he sort of bulks up a little bit, he's going to be some player, because you can see that he likes to sort of drive forward anyway, and the fact is they were more, just obsessed with sort of trying to keep him quiet, but he had players around him. He then brought in Banton and Noble, and in the end, it was just sort of far too easy for us to sort of play triangles around them all. But he's going to be one hell of a player. He really, really is.
Of course, going in at half-time, 2-0 up, we'd had those 4 successive games without conceding a goal, the whole of the second half at Slough. So in effect, we're doing 5 games without conceding a goal. So you can see why they're happy to play the ball around, because they don't think they're going to concede.
No, and that makes such a stark difference to those first couple of games of the season, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And again, we mentioned it last week, but praise has to go to the players and the coaching staff. And the coaching staff, again, with Alex Lancashire, you can tell he's learning so much and he's getting so much experience from players probably like Noble around him, Tom Bender, etc. But also the likes of Chris Winton, who I think is a bit of an unsung hero amongst Saints fans, and I think he's done an incredible job with Ian as well.
One change for the replay. Zane Banton came back in for Mitchell Weiss. Happy with that?
You mean Rain Banton, David?
Yeah, sorry, Rain Banton.
You've lost me.
I thought it was a good choice. I thought it worked well. And it's similar again to Mitchell Weiss a couple of weeks ago, fans asking why he doesn't start more. And it's heard a game again on Tuesday for Zane after his performance. And I thought he really deserved that goal he got. And I thought his performance, I don't think he did much wrong, really, Zane. I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought he did well. He added a bit of energy into the attack again.
All round, fellas. City, FA Cup, under the lights, decent crowd. It was really enjoyable. And that is the sort of result that's going to get fans coming back. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
What about Callum Adeboye? He came in for the first couple of games. I haven't got him in the summer from Kings Langley. We conceded 6 goals in those 2 games. It looked like he almost carried the can for it. He was dropped for the next quite a few games. He's come back in the last 3. I think he's slotted in quite well.
Yeah, I think he has. I think he's doing really quite well, especially with the defensive issues we've had. We keep talking about signing a right back. We don't touch on that now, but I thought he did well on Tuesday. Don't think he did an awful amount wrong at Saturday, and I thought against Havant as well was probably his best performance of the season. And it's allowed Joy McKenna to play at right back, and he's not looked terribly confident there, but he's doing enough. And again, it's always fun seeing him pacing it down the right wing on Tuesday night. He doesn't quite look as natural as he should, but the defence is doing its job at the minute, isn't it? And Callum Adeboye as well, he's bounced back really well from those first couple of games.
The thing is, though, with that is that it was always going to be someone had to fall on the sword. And with Ian making the selection, it was probably the better that the devil that into that much thing. And it's someone had to sort of do something about it. And his performances weren't great, but then again, that could be said for the whole of the back line. So, but as again, it comes in, it shows his character and his temperament that he can come in, slot into a winning team that are playing really well.
Can't argue with that.
I'm sure you will.
Last Saturday, by the way, was Ian Allinson's 50th cup tie as manager.
Really?
It's only about 5, maybe 6. Yeah, only 5 managers, I think, have been in charge for more cup ties. So it gives you an idea of how long he's been at the park now.
It's been years now, isn't it?
He's coming up for his 250th game.
Wow, that's amazing. Where does that rank him on the sort of? That must be fairly
there.
High.
Just about there.
Hey.
There's a load down there, and there's a couple more up there, but he's about there.
Should have seen that coming.
I'll give you the figure in a minute, Jake, if you really want. Right, there's some other issues from Tuesday night. I'll let you lot kick off on that.
Yeah, Lee, do you want to? You mentioned you want to touch upon briefly.
Yeah, I saw some comments. I saw some comments on the socials about the amount of new youth supporters behind the goal and their exuberant chanting. Some of it quite derogatory. And obviously, the club have now enforced this zero tolerance policy for abusive and foul language. And I have to say, it was abusive and foul, and plenty of it on Tuesday. I think what it is, what we're seeing now, fellas, is a result of you are trying to push the youthful essence of the club. You're sort of trying to appeal to that demographic, and as such, you're getting more and more younger fans in the gates. But with that comes, drunken exuberance, youthful exuberance, and with it comes some very choice language and some very unsavoury chants as well.
In the second half, there were some stewards and other matchday staff standing right in front of them as they were giving their keeper dog's dinner abuse, and I failed to see what he'd done wrong. And nothing seemed to be done to shut them up. I think you found an interesting comment on a message board somewhere, didn't you, Jake? I don't go on the message boards, but I think it was quite interesting.
Yeah, there was quite a few actually, and one of them was it seems like zero tolerance is more towards any sort of maybe stick of owners or chairman, etc. But when it comes to the players and on the pitch, it does seem a little bit, more lenient. And I think we understand, this happens, but the fact that the club did get all these boards printed, put them up around at the start of the season, and then a few games in, home games in, we've got this. And as you say, Lee, youthful exuberance, etc. But some of them I just didn't get it. I mean, some of them weren't related at all. Some of it's just awful, and it's like you can tell that you're all school kids who are out on your late Tuesday night. You'll be back home in 10 minutes. It's like just ridiculous, really. And as you say, Dave, there didn't seem to be any sort of action or any sort of attempt or anything. Just
can I say
bizarre.
though, fellas, I love the fact that they're there.
Yeah,
I love the fact they're supporting our team. I love the fact that they're wearing our colours and all of that. But just thing is, how are you going to police it all? Because you can't sit there and chuck out 20, 35, fans, because that's just going to be an absolute PR disaster. But that said, though, if they are doing something wrong, which is categorically against what the club are trying to do, then they've got to go out. But again, it's so hard for everyone to police. How do you sort of sit there and, find the ringleader? I mean, a lot of it was unsavoury. And the thing is as well, there were quite a few families there as well on the night. FA Cup, St Albans City at home, relatively nice evening. You don't want a repeat of that going forward, because that's going to be more detrimental than trying to sit there and manifest yourself towards the youthful element of the city. All it will do is just turn away all of the families.
It was a shame, because up until that first goal, their support was superb. They got right behind the team from the kickoff, and there wasn't a hint of anything that was to follow. No. And if only they'd stuck to that, they'd be getting praise now instead of getting stick. They brought in a load of £6 to the club. Of those who were over 12, they brought in nothing. And they would have got praised had they carried on like that. Now it is, they got a load of people, not just us, pointing fingers at them saying, you can't do that. That's not supporting your club. But it's true what you say, Lee. What can they do about chucking people out? Because if they did start chucking people out for language like that, the benches on both teams would be empty before half time.
I tell you what, you jest, mate. That isn't too far from the truth. I mean, you've only got to look at. We could probably reel off half a dozen managers in our league alone that likes an expletive or two. Again, it's very difficult because they're stewards in so much they've got a nice fancy jacket on, but what are they going to do? Seriously, what are they going to do? I was a steward once at Clarence Park for Preston against Enfield in a replay, FA Cup. Preston bought, that whole the whole Hatford Road end was packed. Lee Harding made me a steward. What was I going to do against 1,000 Preston fans? Absolutely nothing. But it's the whole element, isn't it? You've got to sort of, seem to be having that sort of precaution there. The stewards aren't going to do anything about it. They must have a clear directive. The club now have this narrative. No nonsense, zero tolerance on all abuse, whether it be towards the officials, whether, it's all right for maybe members of the club to sit there and start dictating what fans can say. But ultimately, it's an absolute nonsense, boys, because if there's a homophobic chance on Tuesday, and we're talking about this when really we should be talking about the fantastic result, the fantastic performance of our players. And it was just a little bit of a sour note for me, because if that continues forward, boys, we're going to be in for some harsh realities.
Yeah, I don't know if you two have seen anything since, but there seems to be nothing from the club in the days since. What
are they going to say? Well, they just, we didn't hear it. Well, exactly. That's fine, but they'll hear it when they get like an FA band coming up their arse, mate. So,
But even if they put out a statement saying, such abuse is not welcome at Clarence Park at all, at least it looks like they are trying to address the issue in some sense, but it doesn't appear to be anything at all. And I read on the forum that there's one supporter that was going to either email the club or ring up the club yesterday to complain about it. So, as you said, Dave, it's not just us. We're not in our own little pod bubble. It is an issue that fans have addressed on Tuesday night. And as you say, great atmosphere to start with. It's just when it turns sour, it's just so unnecessary. It's such a shame, because up to that point, they were great.
And in the middle of all that, didn't Preston win 3-0, Lee?
I don't know, mate. I was getting beaten up by 1,000 Preston supporters. So,
or Lee was joining them in the drinking.
Leading it, not joining them.
Slander.
Right, is that Tuesday done with? And we still have those 2 spotlights on, by the way, shining down on supporters on the old git stand, and which is great. Look up, as soon as you follow the ball up there, you can't see a thing. There you go.
Two things. What was the sound system like on your side, Dave?
Oh, don't start him off on the sound system.
It was
Nigel. Professor Culkin's going to absolutely lose his mind. He's going to be tweeting us and all sorts, mate. You watch tomorrow morning.
it was quieter on the stand side, which is good. So it's not going to deafen people there. Met Police had it dead right Saturday. They had music going, but it was so quiet. It literally was in the background. So you could just stand there and have a conversation with someone. You can't do that at Clarence Park on the boozer side of the ground. It is just so loud. But over the other side, Jake, no, £16.50, and you can't hear who the teams are, which is
there you go.
terrible.
Talking of tickets, I think the last couple of days with Dave, we started to wonder whether we're actually getting rid of the pay on the gate, because on the last couple of programmes, there's no longer a mention of the ticketing policy change, is there? And you queried this with me the other day, and again, do we know what's going on? Because technically isn't it Saturday? This Saturday?
Well, I think you made the point earlier in the day to me, Jake. All of those kids who turned up, they paid by card.
Yep.
So in future, if they just think as a group of kids, let's go down to St Albans at home tonight or this afternoon or whatever, if they just think they're getting like that, of course they won't be able to. So the club is not only turning away old duffers who can't handle technology, the kids as well, possibly.
Yeah, I do wonder if there might be a change of heart with that, because Lee, we were in the queue, weren't we? And pretty much all of them were just tapping in, weren't they?
Change of heart? Surely not, mate. It's not Christmas yet, my friend. Almost.
No, not yet. But the way it has just disappeared from the programme now, you'd thought they'd put it in because it was the last home game. So we'll wait and see, I suppose. I mean, the next home game. We want the perfect
world, boys, don't we?
No,
we want. No, come on. We want the perfect world. We want the fans to come in. We want them to pay by cash or by card, and then we just want them to be nice and sing polite songs once they're in there.
We would like coherent policy and information from the club, Lee. That would help, wouldn't it? It's not, as you say, we're waiting for Christmas on that one. Right.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm sure if the club were concerned about it, they would act accordingly.
Right. Elsewhere in the league, Wellington United, we mentioned last week, change of manager. See who they've got now?
Peter Taylor.
Peter Taylor, yeah.
How long is he going to be hanging around for? I mean, his last job was at Dagenham, and he was on a cushy little gig there, boys, I have to say. I do the Dagenham programme, and it was just, he thought he'd turn up, throw a few of his sort of David Beckham analogies around and get 3 points every other Saturday. It was tough going. Tough going. And he took a very good Dagenham side almost to the brink of mid-table obscurity. So you have to ask, Tavs, we spoke about in the past people like John Steele, whether they've still got the drive to take on a role in this division. I don't know what your thought is there, mate, but I don't think Peter Taylor's probably the answer at Welling.
Well, my memory of Peter Taylor goes back actually 23 years and 3 days, when he brought Dartford to the Clarence Park for an FA Cup replay, and they attacked us. They were brilliant to watch. They played superb football. It was open, expansive, fast. It was great to watch, and he was similar when he was at Enfield as well. It's difficult seeing him doing that at Welling. I can't imagine he's going to have the same sort of budget to do that sort of thing. And yeah, you do query somebody, are they going to have the fire still? But I think once it's in you as a football manager, it probably stays there, and he's going to want to succeed no matter what.
He's going to want to succeed, mate, but he's going to do it with a bang average side, and he'll be gone by Christmas.
It depends what connections he's got at this level to improve them, and what budget he's got, if a budget is good enough for them to, because they were down the bottom last season as well, weren't they, before it got terminated? So it may require some investment. So Mark Goldberg might have to get the checkbook out. And another change manager, you can do this one, Jake, Billericay Town.
Yeah, Kevin Watson gone, isn't he? And it's no real surprise from reading a few comments from their supporters. Sounds like his problem, from what I'd understand, he didn't really make many changes to the squad in the summer. Kept a lot of the squad that somewhat struggled last season, and sounds like it's pretty much the same this season, including our friend Darren Foxley. He's still there. So, yeah, I think it was inevitable. Billericay fans don't seem particularly upset. And I've actually seen Rod Stringer's name being linked to the job. So I don't think they've made an appointment just yet. Could be wrong, but yeah, we'll see who turns up. But I think a change was probably going to happen there.
It is a shame though, Jake, because Kevin was an excellent coach at a player as well at Luton and Colchester. Excellent coach, he really did get the best out of what he had. really excelled as well at youth levels all across the board. And it's about making that transition, isn't it? You know, we sort of speak about Chris Winton making that transition from first team coach to potential manager in the future. Not everyone's got that in their DNA, boys. You know what I mean? And it's just a matter of Kevin Watson. I think that's probably one step too far. And he had to deal with a lot of egos there as well. Probably one of his own as well.
Do you know what? I said 23 years ago, Taylor was at Dartford. It's 33. Good grief. Anyway, but we mentioned Billericay there. In the FA Cup second qualifying round, they won away to Braintree Town, and that's where we are Saturday. A club that you know quite a bit about, Lee.
Mate, we are sponsoring the game. A Podful of Saints is sponsoring the Braintree game. No. We are sponsoring the game. We're going to have a good day out. We're going to be surrounded by superb St Albans City fans, witnessing a majestic 5-0 win. And we're going to have spam sandwiches and pints of IPA all along the way. Nothing can go wrong.
Do they have spam in Essex?
We don't have any meat, mate. Although there's a few cows floating around, but
oh goodness me!
Who's manager there now, Lee?
Absolutely no idea. It's not me.
What about the other bloke? Do you know, Jake?
No, I don't. I presume you know, Dave.
I don't think they made an appointment today. Last time we looked,
No.
It was just somebody in a temporary thing.
Yeah, they've just not had a great season again, have they?
Just one win in 6. The one win they got was away to some team, HHT, whatever that stands for. HHT nil, that was their name. And last Saturday, what was it, 6-0 away to Eastbourne? You don't want to be complacent, but you're looking at 3 points Saturday.
I tell you what, I'm looking forward to sitting there when we're like 3-0 up, starting the Harding out chants in the middle of their boardroom. That's going to go down well.
20 years since you started that, Lee.
I know, still going.
Oh dear.
Do you see any changes for us? You talked about Nobby. Time for a rest?
Yeah,
I think so. There's nothing there to prove for him now. The fact of the matter is, Braintree are probably there for the taking. And of course, you know, they're going to want to sort of try and turn us over. Of course they are. However, the cream will always rise to the top, boys. We've got player for player, man for man. We've got to be fancying our chances there, Dave, as you said, mate. Take Nobby out of the equation. There's nothing, I mean, saying that, is that bit of experience is going to be sort of key on the day, you know, just to sort of calm things down, because we have got a tendency to go gung-ho and maybe leave sort of spaces in behind. But you like to think whatever team we do put out, boys, it's going to be our winning one.
Well, from my memory of Cressing Roads, the pitch is excellent and it would suit Nobby.
Yeah, it would.
Chuck that into the mix. But
3 games in a week, though.
You take him out, who do you bring in? Do you bring in Hugh Dawson? Do you bring in Liam Soul? Mitchell Weiss and change the formation around? Dave Dijou, presumably he's fit again now because he's been on the bench the last couple of games.
I think it's going to be Hugh Dawson, I think, based upon last couple of weeks. And against his performance against Havant, he didn't do anything wrong at all. I didn't think Hugh. And, you know, I think he'll fear that maybe a bit unlucky that he didn't start on Tuesday night with Nobby having played 2 days before. But I think Hugh can come in and hopefully do a job in midfield. And as you say, Dave, you've got to go there confident. And this is a good chance to maybe start a couple other players. I would really like to see Liam Soul start a game. It's been a little while now. And I thought he did well at Slough. He's not had much of a chance really since. I know he's in on Saturday. But I think it'd be really good to just see a little bit of a change up front or attacking-wise and just mix it up a little bit.
Last week, Lee, you asked me, would I choose a FA Trophy final or FA Cup third round?
That's pub talk, you said, Dave. Pub talk, because we're all like highbrow conversation, mate, on this pod.
Right. So what would you go for? We're currently 6th in the table. Would you go for a playoff place or would you take FA Cup first round?
Ooh. I would go playoff place for me, because it's over the duration of a full league season.
And at the end of the season, the playoff over FA Cup third round?
I don't know. No, because the third round's different because we haven't been there. And you know what? If it's guaranteed to be one of those ties when it just puts us in the shop window, you know, St Albans City, your club, my club, our club, is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And just to have that, we've missed out on so many big occasions in the past because we've fallen out the last hurdle or mismanagement or whatever it may be. To have us in a big game away from home on television, the whole 2 weeks build up, it was going to be amazing. It's something I would like to have experienced before.
Okay.
I mean, I've been in playoffs before, but
Yeah, I think third round, I would definitely take that over the playoffs. I think first round's a tricky one.
been there, done that, mate.
Yeah, I think the only difference would be for me would be if we got a big club away in a first round. You're almost guaranteed TV. But beside that, maybe a Sheffield Wednesday away, someone like that. But otherwise, I'd probably
Not
take
a big
playoffs.
club, mate.
Hey, well, I mean, we talk about reaching FA Cup first round. How long has it been since we've been in the playoffs of the National League Conference South? It's been a little while now.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
it's a culmination of 40-odd games.
and what normally happens when we get in the playoffs?
Monumental defeat.
Oh.
I think it's the other way around, actually.
Yeah.
Well, no,
A record is rather good.
is it?
Yes,
There you go.
right. So I
But I
think
think it's-
1908-9 was the only time we didn't win a playoff.
Were you there, Tavs?
I was. I got in at
So come on in.
consistently right then.
So you've asked the question. What would you have, mate?
For the first round, I think you take promotion instead. The third round, it would be, you probably would take the third round because you can try and go for promotion again next season. You probably won't get another chance for the third round of the FA Cup the following season. So yeah, you'd probably take that.
Yeah.
And of course, the last two times we've reached the fourth qualifying round, we've gone out to Hertfordshire side. So thank goodness we haven't got a Hertfordshire side this time.
Well, back down to Surrey again. Couldn't we gone somewhere else? And
That's a new ground.
Yeah, casuals. Do you see casuals have had their midweek game called off next week to help them prepare for the tie?
Yeah, going against Bognor. Yeah.
It's nice to have a supportive league. I wonder if the National League will ever be like that.
Well, they haven't got any fixtures midweek anyway, so it's a hypothetical question, Jake. Right, but didn't do any predictions last week. Do you want to make fools of yourselves now? Braintree.
4-1.
It's a good job you're paying the sponsorship, Lee. Otherwise, I wouldn't let you in, I don't think. Jake?
I'm going to go 2-1 Saints.
2-1.
Optimistic, because I've looked at their team and they have at least two names I recognise. So
yeah,
great.
One of them's a goalkeeper.
Who is it?
Preston Edwards in goal, and
Oh,
they've got Luke Pennell as well, who's Oxford City.
Preston Edwards once subscribed to Chillick on YouTube.
Really?
He did.
And then he realised it wasn't really what he thought he was sort of signing up for. Then he mugged it all off. Okay.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
if you haven't subscribed, be more like Preston and subscribe now, and you'll get to see our videos every week.
Lucky you. Right, are we done?
I think we are, boys. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Right, one way or another, we're going to have a guest next week.
Hopefully.
One who would definitely come in, but we want to get somebody more recent if we can't. if we can't, we go for the one we got on hold. So there you go. We're dangling the string out there, aren't we?
We really are. It's a ringing endorsement, isn't it? And if anyone wants to contact us, it's at Podful of Saints on Twitter, email as well.
Or come and see us in the boardroom at Braintree on Saturday.
Yes.
Very good.
Give Dave's name; they'll let you straight in.
Yeah, right.
And on that note, shall we say goodbye, everyone?
Right. Cheers, lads. See you next week.
Take care. See you later.
Bye-bye.